Hello everybody, Zach RC here and welcome back to the Racers Driving League Season 13 for Round 13 of the Championship. Welcome to the Hungarian Grand Prix. We've got an exciting race for you tonight, as we always do here at the Hungary Ring. Not sure what happened there. I think my game capture went a bit off for a moment on my OBS. But it's all fixed now and we are back with racing as usual on the Monday nights. Save Landlord still topping the Drivers' Championship after France. 14 points clear of his teammate Save Blaze, of course the two of them resuming their epic title clash from last season, and this time, releasing these last few weeks, it's closed up an awful lot. And keep an eye on C110P fan, who despite sitting over a race win behind, is still in with a chance potentially of scoring an underdog win. However, he's not here tonight, so things aren't looking too good for him in terms of gaining ground for the next couple of weeks. I've been told he's not here for this race or for Spa next week, which I may or may not be streaming, as it's my birthday next week, so I'm very excited for that. Regardless, on to qualifying then. Last season's Hungarian Grand Prix, very, very exciting, led to Touchy Hope's first victory of the season, the first victory of his title defence, well, attempted title defence, didn't quite go the way he would have wanted. But it was a very exciting race, which saw Dan come home in second place, and it saw Save Blaze home in third. So, should be a very exciting one. However, only one of those three podium finishers currently are on the grid for tonight's race. The 19 of them, 18 in qualifying due to Iwoodley's retirement thanks to his qualifying ban. We'll follow that one and only podium sitter from last season around for a lap of the Hungary Ring. Now down the main straight, DRS deployed over the line to start the lap for Save Blaze. Down to that very long run down towards that first corner. You've got a lot of time to make up some moves. Think back to 2021, Valtteri Bottas setting off a chain reaction crash at the end of the first straight. Out of turn one there, brilliant exit and charging down towards turn number 3. Braking at that 50-meter board, keeping all the way to the left-hand side. The curbs here they don't look brilliant, but they are very, very deadly in some of these corners. You get on some of them too much, you'll end up spinning out. There he comes now up the hill. And that was turn 6, and now it's turn 7. You really want to stay away from that curve in particular there through 7. You will definitely spin out if you're on it for too long. Through the chicane, turn 8 and 9, and now towards 10. PJ Khaled sets the first top time of the day, 1 minute 16.7 for the Haas car. And Ethan quickly goes faster than that by by over 1.3 seconds. As Save Blaze 54.1, his second sector split. Lucky Lambert puts himself in second. And I've just realised that my maths is terrible. He's just 3/10 of a pound. I don't know where I plucked 1.3 seconds from. Regardless, Blaze will looking to try and top them all. Here he comes to the last corner. Fergus sets 1 minute 17.5, so it's 1.1 seconds off, so we've got someone over a second. Towards the line for Blaze now. He goes fastest. And that was your provisional pole lap starting us off. 1 minute 15.8. That's a full 6/10 up on Ethan Ed's second place time. Both Aston Martins now over the line. Zach Sherman in 4th and Ericsson in 6th, because the Aston Martin team took victory with Pope last time here at the Hungary Ring, and they were looking to potentially try and go back to back. Zach Sherman has been up there in the past, yet to win a race yet, to my knowledge. Alvar slots himself nicely into second place there for Williams. BJ back there in 3rd for AlphaTauri. Ethan holding on to 4th at the moment. Lucky Lambert 5th, Zach Sherman 6th, PJ Khaled 7th, Ericsson 8th, Fergus down to 9th, make that 10th. As JB puts himself in. The export goes for cars. We've got Mercedes spinning in the back of the last corner. And that is Curtis Shepherd who's around. The track clear now. He's able to get himself moving again. But I dare say that'll be the end of his first run. Won't even be beating Lycon's time of 1 minute 41.9. It'll be 1 minute 49.2 for the other Mercedes driver. So quite a way off his teammate here. Still waiting on 5 drivers to set their laps here. As Huggy Bear is currently on a timed run as it stands, making his way through a chicane. Nice and smooth there. Doing brilliantly so far. Oh, he's invalidated the lap there, and that'll be the end of it. Yellow flag further back, and that might be the one of the Alpines. Alright, good stuff then. So right, yeah. So as I was saying earlier, so Fan isn't here tonight. He's been replaced by Lycon, to my knowledge, for this race. So he's not the one driver missing. We're actually missing Landlord to make up the full 20-car grid, because AlphaTauri was able to get a replacement reserve driver in. However, no one for Landlord at the time being. Actually, as I'm reading the chat here, I'm sorry, Landlord is joining mid-qualifying. So, yeah, a bit of a change there. So I'm sure he'll be in shortly to get the laps going again. He had some work to do trying to beat his teammate. He still sits on top, but now by only about 4 tenths to Alvar in second. BJ through the last couple of corners now. Now into the pits. So it's the end of his first run. Overall, a good start to qualifying for a lot of these drivers. Huggy Bear's backed off considerably here. I've just seen Morty down the chat there. Viva la Williams. I mean, I'd agree, Wardy, but there's only so much you can do from your qualifying band. So hopefully, have a good luck to him in the race to be able to make up some places potentially from that last place spot. Short for disqualification. He'll be starting in 19th. And now Oliver goes second fastest there. Puts himself on the front row for McLaren. Just a 10th off Blaze. Oliver on course to become the next driver to hit the 100-point mark. Only 3 drivers have done it so far from these opening 13 rounds. And it just shows you how crazy league racing can be, at least compared to real life Formula 1. As when you look at it, it's a lot more... that you find the leaders hitting the 100 points a bit earlier. Rago's prologue there in the Alfa Romeo. We've managed to catch that on camera. He's had to wait there. It's an unfortunate spin. Didn't look like his lap was going too bad. He spun the car, and that is not how you want to start the opening run. Thank you, back into the pits. Here's Websy in the Ferrari. It looks like there's been contact of some kind between, or some sort of altercation between Huggy Bear and Curtis. He says, I thought the coast was clear. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. Both of them in the pits it stands. There's Alvar on his outlap. BJ also on his outlap. Lucky Lambert on a lap is standing. He's got no front wing though. Wow. Well, that is a bit of a shocker. Blaze again setting the pole time. He's probably even faster. I'm getting word Landlord's struggling to actually get into qualifying as it stands. Actually get into the get into his car. Blaze still on a lap. Websy up to 3rd place now. Brilliant lap from the Ferrari driver. 1 minute 16.1. The highest does 116s, also the lowest of the other 116 drivers. Alvar now pushed back to 4th. However, he's making his way through the final corners now as it stands, but his lap's gone 3 minutes long. No chance of any improvement there. We're setting up to go for a run this time around. Into turn 1 now. Good start. Oh, apologies. Making his way up towards 5. He's a 10th up. That will be enough to potentially put him back up into 3rd place in front of Websy as it stands. That's been quite smooth so far. Could be hoping it stays that way. He's on the grass there. What's going on there? I think he's I made a mistake and now pulling over. Yeah, the yellow's deployed down there. Alvar going slow. Not sure how did he just spin off and we just didn't manage to catch it? Regardless. Oliver warming up for a lap, and there he is, Landlord rejoining the session. And hopefully this time we'll be able to get himself rolling quickly because he hasn't got too much time left. He's still about 6.5 minutes as it stands. There's plenty of time to go on a run as Oliver crossed the line to start another lap. And Curtis Shepherd out. The Mercedes out of the session. Oh, and that is not the nicest of crashes that you like to see there. And Zach Shepherd, oh, coming very close to running into the Mercedes there. The Strickham Silverado on the middle of the track there. And they want to despawn that as soon as possible. Let's have a look at it one more time. Huggy Bear slowing up and then annoyingly has to the car despawns in front of him. So that may or may not have buggered his lap completely. And Landlord is into the session, into his Alpine. I'm sure he'll be getting ready to go for a lap. Yeah, he hasn't got a lot of time. He'll need to get out of there quickly. The majority of cars in the pits now most likely have time for one final run. Five minutes to go now. Randall with Blaze here. He's on course to try and set potentially another improved pole time. He's the only one to have held it so far. Or not only one to have held it for a considerable amount of time once everyone else has set laps. So still waiting on 4 more cars to set a lap time as it stands. One of them's out on the track. That's Huggy Bear who's going once again. 27.5 his first sector. Here he comes now. He's had a brilliant second sector. As he comes now towards the split. Be a 55.5. Here it comes now for the last corners. Oh, but a skid there. No, that'll be the end of his lap again. Huggy Bear really struggling here. However, he'll get the car turned around. And hopefully it can be enough to put himself potentially into 14th place. If he can beat Curtis this time, no. 15th on the grid. 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Landlord's on that lap. Here he comes off the last corner. He'll be hoping this is a lap that can put him potentially as high up the grid as he can. With his teammate on pole. He's got a 14-point lead in the championship. I'm sure he wouldn't like to lose that as he's driving Ocon's car here. So he hasn't quite that hasn't quite worked. The multiple hasn't quite worked as much as we hoped it would. 3 minutes to go though. Here's Pro Lol on an out lap. Only 2 points scored by the Alfa Romeo driver so far this season. 65 less than his teammate Lucky Lambert, who resides in the 6th position. Here he comes to start his lap. Landlord though, through the second sector, 28.0 was his first split. Second split, 58.3. Through the last corner, It's not going to be allowed to put someone to pole. But put him in P13 for the moment. So he's got 2 minutes left. One more chance. A good lap. He can do maximum 2 more laps. However, he's used a good amount of his ERS. Here he comes. He's had a good start to the lap so far. Right, I'm board now through the second sector. He's 3.8 seconds up. However, that still won't be enough to snatch points invalidated, and that could be a major. That could be a major doubt. Oh, I can't speak. That could be a major shock to potential hopes of putting the car on pole. But with a minute to go, yellow flag sector 2. And I think that was for JB. But well, Landlord struggling now, down to P16. As Parachute 2 improves. 1 minute 20.420. Very nice there. Keep an eye on Blaze here to make way for his final lap. The checkered flag about to drop. With Alvar just about crossing the line in time to start one more lap. Checkered flag now falling. We wait now for the last cars to make their way around. Prolol's up there in 6th place. He's going to the pits. His day's done. Yellow flags. And those are to let the McLaren of Che Oliver through. He's 700th of a second up. Sorry, it's down, excuse me. And Landlord's retired. Landlord's crashed the car. And to my knowledge, that's the exact same spot where he did it last season. Wait, no, I'm getting myself confused in another league. Oliver stays second. Improves, but stays second. Oh, and around goes Webty. The Ferrari around. Zach Shem across the line. He'll start 11th. Here comes Lucky Lambert towards the finish. He's only got one end plate on him. Here comes the Alpina Blaze across the line. He improves again. Well, he's been given a golden opportunity, and he's looking to maximise it with pole position here. He's done just that with his teammate down in 16th as my controller disconnects as it does at least once every week without fail. Well, everyone's pretty much set their laps, and that means the end of qualifying. Summer Blaze on pole position. Well, Landlord then will start down in 17th for the race. He'll have a lot of work to do here around the Hungary ring, but the RDL and Hungary always sow up chaos regularly, so I see no reason why he can't make it to the field. But for now, it's Summer Blaze on pole position, looking to potentially take the championship lead back. Let's have a look at your top 10 before the race gets started. Blaze on pole position, Che Oliver 2nd, BJ 3rd, Websy 4th, Ethan 5th, Prolol 6th, Alvar 7th, Lucky Lambert 8th, good qualifying for Alfa Romeo, PJ Keller 9th, and Fergus in 10th. And remember, Landlord down in 17th of the 20 car field that will start the Hungarian Grand Prix in a few minutes' time. Alright then, so here we go for the start of the race itself. The Hungarian Grand Prix about to get underway. Round number 13 of the championship. In terms of those driver standings, after the opening 12 rounds, it's Landlord who shows the way by 14 points. But he's got a monster of a job today in the 35 laps that await us. Salvo Blaze on pole position. Landlord will start from 17th on the grid. So we'll need to finish in at least 5th to keep his championship lead for the time being. Should Blaze go on to win. And C110P fan not here tonight. He'll be falling back by a decent margin. Could we see potentially Oliver break into that 100-point margin with a victory today? That's the only way he can get himself into it. He sits on 80 points in the championship, P4. The final few seconds now before we get underway for the formation lap to get this race started. Round number 13 of the championship. Stick around. Let's do this.
Here we go then. The formation lap is underway and the track temperature looks warm. That may or may not play into some of the team's hands in today's race.
So they're going off for the formation lap. The majority of drivers starting on hard tyres. This one, at least in the mid-pack. 2 drivers on softs, Alvar and Paris. And then BJ, Websy, Prolol, Huggy Bear, Lycon and Wardy on mediums.
As the cars come back towards the grid to line up for the start of the race, each driver will be wanting to get the best start they possibly can. And they'll be hoping to finish today's race on the podium, failing that, within the points.
Blaze then leads them off the final corner for the start of the race itself. And a line up on the grid. 35 laps of the always entertaining Hungaroring. It should be a brilliant Grand Prix. It served us up some great action last season, especially in the final lap, 2-lap restart after the late safety car, which resulted in Touch With Hope taking victory. Could we see another dramatic closure here today? Got 35 laps to find out. Good luck to everyone in taking part in the race. Make sure to stick around for all the fun as the final cars line up on the grid. It's a tough ask for Landlord to try and retain his championship lead. 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Just waiting for the lights to come on. No idea what's going on. What is this? What's happening? Why is the race not starting? Is it starting? And the host is migrating. Oh, hello. The lights are coming on. Lights out. We're underway. But however, I'm not sure if the start went how it's meant to go. Regardless, Blaze jumps out front. Good start from him going towards that first corner. Lano's been up 2 places already. BJ challenging around the outside for that first turn. And Prolol back down third. Yellow flag. The exit turn 1. And that is... I'm not quite sure what that was. The Max being in contact. I'll keep going with this for the time being. JB's left the session. We're going to keep going until I'm told race restart. Select yellow flag again. And we've got 2 car crash in the back. And that is Shea Oliver and Websy, who are both out. That's a poor start for Oliver, unfortunately. Where's Websy? And JB's car there. Where's Oliver's car? Didn't quite see it. And I think we're going to have a restart here. So, yeah, right, so yeah, that is confirmed. The race restart now. No idea what happened there. And there is the message saying confirmed restart. So I'll go to intermission for the moment. I'll be back with you shortly. Right, and so here we go again. Second time lucky for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round number 13 of Season 13 of the Racers Driving League. Should be a very, very entertaining race this time around. And hopefully these lot will give me something to shout about. A bit of confusion off the start. Sat there for about a minute wondering why the lights weren't firing. But we are back with it now. And just to update you guys, for those of you who just arrived, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, Salve Landlord still leads the way by 14 points to his teammate Salve Blaze. However, Landlord starts back in 17th for the race, while Blaze starts on pole. So it's going to be a very, very entertaining fight for Landlord to get back to the pack in order to try and keep up with his teammate, who could potentially snatch the championship lead off him. And Fan is not here tonight. He sits third in the championship, 128 points to his name. And Che Oliver down in fourth on 80 points. A win for him here could be the breaking point he needs to get past the 100-point mark, become only the fourth driver this season to do so. So here we go now, the start of the formation lap to get this one underway.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres.
So here we go then, there's your start tyres on the left-hand side. Both front row starters on the hards, row 2 on mediums. 2 cars on softs, that's Albar and Paris T82, the majority of the mid-pack are on hards. BJ, Websy, Prolol, Connie Goblin, Huggy Bear, Lycon and Morty, all on mediums.
Reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
Well, this has all the makings of a classic race. One driver on pole with the intention of taking the championship lead for himself. His teammate, his championship rival, trying to close back up through the field. We've got a couple of dark horses here up at the front. Of course, the Hungarian gave us a crazy race last season, with Touchby Pope taking his one and only victory, his first victory of last season. As the last few cars now come to the line, hopefully this time we'll be able to get off to a start. The AlphaTauri and the Williams lining up at the back. There's Landlord in 17th. And here we go now. Hopefully this time we'll be able to get a start. Here we go. 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round 13 of the championship. It's lights out, foot to the floor. Go, 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 go. It looks like Oliver got way better off the line, but Blaze already has that advantage on the run down towards that first corner. Blaze moving over to the right to try and cover off the McLaren, but he's going to open the door for the AlphaTauri around the outside. You think it might get swallowed up here in that first corner. Oliver to the inside. Oh, he skidded the car a little bit there. Blaze holds on to the lead for the first time. BJ now right there behind him, looking to try and take that top spot. Oliver holds off Ethan, Prolol, Websy and Lucky Lambert behind them. Brilliant start then. Oh, there goes the Alfa Romeo running a bit wide there. That's Lucky Lambert gets it back onto the racing line, putting himself side by side with Websy there. Good exit from the Ferrari. He'll take away the 6th position. But up front is Blaze, who leads the way off of this start. And this will have a much better getaway. No wrecks so far in this one. Oh, around goes BJ. It's Lucky. He's only skipped the car and there's contact. And there goes Fergus off the track. And I'm not sure there's damage for either one of these two cars. And BJ's been given a quite unfair penalty there for a severe collision with Fergus, considering Fergus went and drove into him. And Landlord's around as well. Landlord at the exit of the chicane in Sector 2, around, and now falling down to 19th place. Granted, there's only 2 places, but I'm sure Blaze will be more than happy to see that. As of right now, he should take the, he definitely will take the championship lead by a total of 9 points to my knowledge. Make that 10 as he puts up the fastest lap of the race to complete the first one of this Hungarian Grand Prix. PJ Cannon already into the pits for Haas, so something is amiss on the one-on-one Haas sponsored Haas machine as he makes his way down the pit lane towards the last stall, the last garage. He's lost an end plate there, so the crew has to get to work on that. Front wing change for PJ Khaled as he'll merge back on the racetrack at the back of the field. Landlord down there in 18th. So he's got a lot of work to do in this one. Blaze pulling out a 1 second advantage over his team, over the second place car. Che Oliver is about 2nd in front of Prolol. So Prolol up there in 3rd place now. He's doing a brilliant job. Ethan in 4th, Websy 5th. Lucky Lambert 6th. Alvar stays consistent with his starting position. There goes Paris 232 to the inside of Zach Sherman. He's managed to get the job done there. So move the Red Bull up into P8. Good stuff from Paris there. We start to get to work on chasing down Alvar. He's getting 8 places of this start. The biggest gainer of anyone in the pack. Lycon second to that. And Blaze sets the fastest lap once again, win at 19.4. And this is where it gets interesting for those cars in the mid-pack, because DRS should now be enabled as they charge towards turn 1. Yellow flag in the back, and that is Iwoody spun the car. And the Williams getting himself going again, but will lose out to both Landlord and to Fergus here. But DRS will now be there for Wardy as they make their way around later on. But it shouldn't affect Salve Blaze. He's already pulled out a 1 second advantage. It's 1.6 back to... Oh, got a spinning car, and that's Curtis who's gone around in the Mercedes. Oh, that's a nasty hit for Landlord, who's already the championship leader, out of this race. And the safety car has been deployed, and Fergus gets the penalty for a collision with Curtis Shepherd. That's 2 penalties that I feel really should not have been awarded for both BJ and for Fergus now. But there is the Mercedes who just came back onto the track as Landlord was making his way through, and I doubt that the Alpine will be too happy with that. The race night goes from bad to worse, and it is not a good Monday for Salve Landlord, who's out of the race alongside Curtis Shepherd, and the DRS now being enabled for some weird reason. Bit late with that one, the race control, but regardless, Blaze over the line here to complete the 3rd lap under the safety car. Excuse me, I'm completely mucking this up. There's no safety car. I'm just a bit stupid. Unless it's a virtual one, in which case there's no matter now because we're back to racing regardless. This has been cleared. There's yellow in the back, and that is Huggy Bear who spun the car. However, behind them, Prolol is looking to get to work, trying to make a move on Che Oliver. He's managed to pull himself into the DRS range, and same with Websy, who's just there half second behind Ethan. So the 1.1 back to Paris in 6th place, and Lucky Lambert in 7th. Zach Sherman 8th. JB, the lone Mercedes car still in the race in 9th, and Ericsson currently holding on to that last championship point payer. Connie Golden holding off Lycon for 11th here. Those 2 DRS zones at the start of the lap. Crucial. Both in the top 3 of those longest straights on the circuit. Prolol will be looking to try and take 2nd from Oliver right away. Huggy Bear most of the pits. That's both Haas cars who have now in fact made their way into the pit lane. Oh, and around goes Blaze, the race leader around. And this time everyone does a fairly good job of avoiding him. However, he's forced Zach Sherman to his outside. Oh, that's another skid there for Salve Blaze. And he's now down to P8. Paris sets the fastest lap. Che Oliver, though, takes the lead. It's now a battle for the top spot. Websy looks to the inside of Ethan, trying to make that move stick. Can't quite get it done out of turn 1, but going down towards turn number 3, the Ferrari gets the power down and gets 3rd place. Move Websy up onto the podium. But Che Oliver now leads the way. Brilliant stuff here early on, but not so brilliant for those Alpine cars. We've got another incident here. It's Alvar at the exit of the final corner. Both Williams have had problems down there. And that's Fergus now, who's also had a problem. He spun out the exit turn at number 1. Both incidents cleared. Green flag now back out. It's a huge lead now for both Che Oliver and Prolol. Websy about 3.5 seconds back from them in 3rd. And Blaze, unable to make many places yet. He's got a bit of work to do here. The pole sitter now struggling. So one Alpine out of the race and the other one further down the order. All of a sudden, the French team don't have as much of a stronghold on this race as we might have anticipated. And it's Che Oliver who now leads Prolol off the final corner. So the Alfa Romeo will have DRS. Lap number 6 now, this Grand Prix. Alvar goes around again just before turn at number 7. Look at Prolol there, right in the back of the McLaren, about 4.5 tenths behind. While further back, is there anything going on? Salve Blaze gets the move done on Zach Sherman. However, the Aston Martin might not be willing to get that one up just yet. If he can go late on the brakes, it'd be worth a try. Perhaps not this early on in the Grand Prix. lap. Blazing up in 7th place. Yellow flag again. And that is Alvar, who for the 3rd time this lap goes around. I'll have to wait for Huggy Bear to get past before he can completely rejoin. He'll be almost a lap behind at this stage. Prolol a lot closer this time around than he was the last time. It's about 2/10 closer. Which might not sound like much. When DRS comes into play, which it has, when it's in the equation, oh, that's a bit of a skid there. And Prolog's going to lose about half a second just with that alone. Well, looks like we're just out of the DRS range this time. So some major opportunity. Sorry about that. Some major opportunity for Cherlova to potentially expand that advantage that he holds right now. Paris T32 narrowly ended up with DRS there. If he can get himself in range of Websy, that might help his case. It's a large train here further back. Lucky Lambert trying to pass Ethan here. Alfa Romeo versus Red Bull. Back up the hill, now into the left-hander. There they come now, making their way back through the chicane. No mistakes for anyone here. Keep my eye on Salve Blaze here. He's right on the attack. Looking to try and make that move stick as quickly as he can. He's using that battery to pull to the inside there. There's contact. Blaze holds the car. And that potentially wasn't the best place to be going for a move, but he tried to go for it, and that's what we do respect. Cherlova starts lap 8. He's got 1.8 second advantage. He's definitely taken a stranglehold in this race, similar to how Blaze did. And speaking of Blaze, I think he's going to try and move to the right-hand side this time into that first corner. Lucky Lambert sees him coming, I know what's doing about it. And there goes Blaze using the DRS to try and close in on Ethan in front of his next target. There'll be a second and a half to the next Red Bull of Paris, who's gained 12 places in the opening 8 laps of this race. Brilliant stuff. Oh, Blaze a little bit twitchy there through the last couple of corners. You know, as such, he'll fall back, and this could allow Lucky Lambert back into the equation. He sits right there, tucked up behind the rear wing of that Alpine. JB with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings there. Paris in a while of his own right now for that last corner. Runs in the 4th spot. Up front, Cherlova against that number 9. Let's scroll through the field to see what's going on elsewhere. Blaze once again on the chase, looking to try and make something work here. Down the main straight, and it's just going to be 2 turnover, 1 overtakes in 2 laps. Blaze up the inside, takes P5 away. And Lucky Lambert could have a chance, but a poor exit, not what he needs. Stays stuck behind Ethan. Zach Shannon's back there in 8th. He's going to try and join in this fight in some way. Ericsson back there in 10th. He's currently holding that last points per position. It's been a decent season so far for Aston Martin. Or at least but the constructor standings won't show you that. They currently sit in 8th place, 7 points off Ferrari in 7th, 74 points to their name, 81 points to the Scuderia. In terms of the top of the championship, Alpine still lead the way by a dominant 316 to AlphaTauri's 185. And they're really not looking to be able to take advantage of that. It really does feel like a squabble for second between everyone else. It's Blaze again making that point clear for the Alpine team as he makes his way past the Red Bull of Paris. And he's going to start closing in. He's got 3.2 seconds to chase down in order to close up to Websy in the Ferrari. The top three all very spread out at this stage. Paris T32, the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. He's got a car around, and that is Paris. He spins the car, and a virtual safety car is out. Paris recovers it. No damage done. He sits down in 13th. We're 10 laps into this race. And the field is neutralised briefly. Somewhat neutralised. I'll tell you what though, Charles has been absolutely flying since taking the lead from Blaze. However, Blaze has been flying himself in an attempt to try and close it back up. Looks like he's lost time here in trying to, in terms of the Delta. Total of 11.9 seconds, around 11.5 off of Che Oliver in the top spot. We're just waiting now for that green flag to get back out so we can go back to racing again as we begin lap number 11 of this one. BJ taking the opportunity to come to the pits here. Got that penalty to serve as well for the severe collision on the opening lap, which I personally felt was uncalled for, considering Fergus spun into him. Although Fergus now has a penalty of his own for that. Prologue with the drive through for speeding under the virtual safety car. The green flag's now back out, but that'll be a huge impact for the car in second place. The Alfa Romeo will have to serve that in the next few laps or so, to my knowledge. You shouldn't lose out too much. You'll most likely fall down to around 12th place. Perhaps just behind Iwardy there, who sits 7 seconds off the lead. You may come out a few seconds behind him now, I'm looking at it. But that will allow Oliver to expand his lead from around 3.2 seconds to around 5.8. Off the last corner once again. He's done a brilliant job leading this race in the absence of Sally Blaze, who will find himself back on the podium when Prolol serves that penalty. But things not looking good for Alpine, at least for one of their drivers. To have them both off the podium is a rare occasion, at least this season. With Landon and Blaze very, very good with F122. Through the left there. He's doing a good job here, is Blaze. He's trying to close in that gap. He's got it down to around 2.6, 2.7 seconds. Those hard tyres. There's a look at all the tyres everyone's on. The two medium runners are doing a good job. However, there'll come a time when those tyres start to fall off the cliff there. Blue flags for Huggy Bear in 17th place. On the only driver on the soft tyres as it stands. Yellow flag, sector 1, and that is Paris around again. He's out the race. And could that be our first safety car of the evening? Yes, it is. The safety car deployed. And Blaze in a perfect winner now to come into the pits. He's being followed by Lucky Lambert and Zach Sherman. And that has come at the worst possible time to those drivers in the top three. Fresh set of medium tyres for Blaze. We're thinking we're looking at a two-stop here. Back out into the racetrack now, rejoining 6th. He has not done too badly at all out of this whole ordeal. The top 5 all need to make their first stops of the race, which will mean he re-inherits the lead. So then, the majority of drivers have just made their first stops of this race. We are now just waiting on Oliver, Prolol, Websy, Ethan and JB to make their first pit stops. And even so, we'll have to see Prolol back in again at some point to serve that drive-through penalty, which he can't serve under the safety car. If it was regular time penalty, he might be able to serve it. Unless, of course, it's track limits. However, that's not the case here. The top 5 here will a few of them will peel off into the pits, with Ethan and JB staying out. They can go a little bit longer on those hard tyres if they want to. But Oliver's gone against that. He's gone against that grain and chose to come into the pits for, I assume, be a fresh set of mediums. There it is, and away he goes. Good stop from the McLaren guys. So Ethan now up into the lead for the first time today on lap number 14. JB second, and Blaze back up to third. He's done very well out of all of this. That safety car came at the perfect time to allow him to come into the pit lane, while everyone else had to wait one more lap to go in. And now Che Oliver emerges in 11th place. So just the sheer difference that one lap has now made. 8 places between them. Everyone who was further back now in arguably a much better position. 3 cars now out of this race. 17 remain. Just a reminder of the 3 cars we've lost. Paris 232 out of the race. Landlord also out. And Curtis Shepard, both those guys out in an instant on lap number 3. Well, I think we potentially could be able to get going this time. Yes, we can. Safety car in this lap. Well, the top 3, or the top 4, sorry, pulled away remarkably. 2 cars lapped already. Alvar and Huggy Bear. The difference between Salvo Blaze and Lucky Lambert in 4th place. 2 cars between them. It'll be Ethan who leads them away for the restart. We haven't seen him lead a restart to my knowledge. I've actually never seen him lead from a restart before. Have to see what his plan is. His plan is to get away now. And off that final corner he comes. Green flag now back in the air. Lap number 15 of this race. JBO following towards turn number 1. Blaze had a terrible restart by comparison. He's already a second and a half behind the top 2. Yellow flags already. And that is Huggy Bear going slow, just to allow the rest of the pack to get past him before he continues. But Alvar is not choosing to give things up. He thinks he can stay with the leaders, so stay with the leaders he's going to try and do. Mappus is waiting for a good place to pull over, which is here. He'll pull over to the right hand side, allow everybody through by the time they get to turn number 5. Also, Huggy Bear through for good measure. Those 2 can carry on with their battle. But Blaze here was about a second and a half behind, but he's really closed in already. Those medium tyres definitely showing their worth in the early going after this restart. Rocky Lambert has Zach Sherman right behind him there in 5th place. Blaze there in 3rd. We haven't seen much of the Aston Martin so far today. In terms of position change, he's gained 6th place. He started 11th. He's now up to 5th. It's Ethan who leads the way out in this first lap since the restart. JB's going to have Salvo Blaze right on his tail here. Prolol into the pits, and that'll be for that drive-through penalty. At least I'm hoping it'll be for the drive-through penalty, and yes, it is. And it won't be to change tyres, which would be quite irritating. At least for him, if they chose to. If he was being brought in for a tyre stop. But he's already making his way to the exit. But now down in 15th place. With a lot of work to do. We're hoping for a safety car. Or something like that to try and catch up to the pack. Blaze about 6/10 behind JB as it stands. We're waiting for that DRS to be enabled so we can get past both these 2Ds. Those medium tyres should be more than enough to be up to the challenge. Fergus gets hit with a time penalty. 3 seconds for track limits, multiple warnings. Lucky Lambert back there in 4th place. About 3/10 off of our potential championship leader. There's Ericsson running in 7th. And behind them, Chayolova going around the outside of BJ in the AlphaTauri there. Almost made that move stick. It was very, very tight. Didn't quite get the job done. DRS now enabled. Here we go. Websy defending from Iwaldy there down the straight. So he blazed up into 2nd. JB's lost out massively. He's lost 2 places. Yellow flag further back. And who is that for? I'm not quite sure. Huggy Bear losing it there at the exit. Turn 1 himself. Blaze now up into 2nd. Almost a second or so behind Ethan. Lucky Lambert up now up there in 3rd. Zach Schoen will be the next guy to try and get around JB. He's going to try going for it into the chicane here. This is going to be very, very dicey indeed. He's going to go. Oh, he took the chance. It hasn't quite paid off. He's lost 2 spots in the process. And it could be 3 here because here comes BJ. And Oliver's going to follow him through. 4 spots lost because Zach Schoen decided to go for that move, which was not worth it. Check Oliver ran wide there. So there's an opportunity for him to try and get one of those back. Chayolova trying to fight back. BJ managed to get 7th, or 8th, sorry, back from him. Half second now separating Blaze from Ethan as we're around the halfway mark of this race. Still a bit of racing to go. DRS deployed. Down the main straight. And he's not actually gaining as much or anything as it stands. Ethan is keeping his lead. And I briefly saw him expanding it as well. There's the 2 Ferraris back there. Iwaldy and Ferguson to the pits, along with Huggy Bear. Prolol and Alvar about to make their way through. And Huggy Bear's retired from the session. He's out. Wardy for a set of soft tyres. Fergus also for a set of soft tyres. A front wing change going on to the McLaren. We're down to 16 cars now. Ethan's still holding the lead. However, he'll have to pit. As will JB. Those 2 have been on those hard tyres the entire way so far. And Lucky Lamb will be the main challenger here. Che Oliver and BJ now going side by side once again here through these tight lefts and rights. And Zach Schillman can try and take advantage, and he does. Move the Aston Martin up into 8th, and it could be 7th too. Good use of that ERS. It's not close enough to be able to make a move into the right-hander. He's now learned his lesson about making those late wary moves into tighter corners. Websy and Courtney Goldman going at it in the 2 Ferraris. It looks like Websy has the edge here. Great qualifying from Websy. Started in 4th, but he's now down in 10th. So things haven't gone brilliantly from in this race so far. As just behind them, Lycon's crept up into the top 5. He's now going against JB out of turn 1. Side by side between the pair now. There's Prolol setting the fastest lap of the race. Blaze still there, waiting. 3/10 behind Ethan now. And Lucky Lambert is staying with them. Che Oliver now making the pass. Ericsson's lost his front wing. What's happened there? There's been definite contact somewhere, but who with? Oliver right on the back of JB. Very tight. He's practically pushing the Mercedes through. The Silverado moves out of the way. There goes Zach Sherman trying to take advantage around the outside. And he's got the job done, so this time a late move does pay off. He's a lot more control with it. Yellow flag further back, and that is for Ericsson, who's still struggling, and maybe for Prolol, who's gone a bit wide. Ericsson, as they struggling with no front wing here to get back to the pits. Up front though, Blaze looking at it, looking to challenge into turn 1. He's got the lead, but for how long? Because Lucky Lambert's there behind him. He's just taken away 2nd from Ethan, and that might be the end of the first stint for the Red Bull driver, because he's spent the whole time defending that lead, and I think now will be the time he tries to come into the pits potentially. As he wants to try and stick with these top 2, who will no doubt be dueling for the race lead if Lucky Lambert can stay with Blaze as he has been these last few laps. Ericsson into the pit lane, front wing change, soft tyres now going on that car, the green machine's away. Iwaldy One of the soft tire runners sets the fastest lap, 1 minute 18. And Ferguson now goes faster, 1 minute 17.9. About a tenth in between them here. There'll be 15 laps to go when the two leaders cross the line. Ethan now second back. Lycon, as right now, will be sitting in a podium place. Oliver's looking to try and come back as well. It hasn't been quite the comeback we expected. It hasn't quite been Landlord clawing his way back through the field. However, we have seen a somewhat fight back from both Blaze, who spun out early on, and Oliver, who the bad safety car timing for him, if at least in his case. Things didn't go his way there, but they've definitely gone his way now. He's on the attack, trying to pass Lycon towards the first corner. And they're both closing on Ethan as well. He chose not to pit. Out of turn 1. Oliver has the edge. He moves up in front. Yellow flag further back, and that's Ericsson around again. Has he got damage this time? I think he's alright. He'll keep on going here. Blaze already pulled out 1.3 second advantage over Lucky Lambert. Did he make a mistake of some kind, or is Blaze just that quick? Oliver now right behind Ethan. He is the next competitor on the hit list for the McLaren, who's been pushing his way back through the field here. Yellow flag further back, and that is... that's Wardy this time. Yes, around he goes. He's recovered the car quickly. Oliver right in the back of the Red Bull off the last corner. And Zach Sherman looking to pass Lycon as well. This could be a double overtake for the Aston Martin and McLaren. One of them's got the job done. The other one's waiting for it. Down towards turn 1. Later on the brakes. There goes Zach Sherman up the inside, and he takes away 5th place. We're looking to get past Ethan as quick as he can here. Ethan has been struggling for a good lap or two now with no DRS. Another driver struggling without DRS is Lucky Lambert, as Blaze has pulled out almost a 2-second advantage. Just how good are these Alpines? There's a reason they've got 316 points in lead. I say lead, they've got 316 points in the Constructors' Championship compared to, as I keep saying, the 185 of AlphaTauri and the 121 of Alfa Romeo. That battle for 3rd place in the Constructors is very interesting between Alfa Romeo, McLaren and Haas. Basically a struggle here. As one of the McLarens goes around there, that's Ferguson has to wait for Iwoody to rejoin. Oh, and he's almost got across the track there in front of Ericsson, but he's moved out of the way in time. Hope somebody might have something to say about that later on, we'll never know. Shea will start to close in that gap. 1.7 seconds between himself and the Alfa Romeo of Lucky Lambert in 2nd place. It's 3.8 seconds to him, the leader, Salve Blaze. Lap 23 gets underway. Prolon now fights so back inside of PJ Khaled and up into the points paying places. Zach Sherman passing Ethan down the main straight into turn 1. Still waiting for the Rebel to make his first stop of the race. Is he banking on a safety car? Prolol trying to fight back from that drive-through penalty. Lucky Lambert still falling away. Going to be slowly becoming a target of Che Oliver. In terms of those bottom 4 earlier on in the race, Huggy Bear chose to retire in the pit lane. He was running around the back and decided he's had enough. Paris crashed the car at the exit of turn number 4. And there was an incident also at turn 4 between Curtis Shepard and Landlord. Curtis spun it, came back out onto the track, and Landlord was in the wrong place at the wrong time. So those two crashed, collided, and are now out of the race. So there's your rundown of the bottom 4 who are all out of the Grand Prix. We've still got 16 cars running. One of them being a lap down. And that... well, actually, I think there's a few of them a lap down at this point. I think those cars being Iwardy, Ericsson, Ferguson, Alvar. Have a look here. Actually looking at it, I think it might be just Alvar is a lap back. I think everyone else is safe for the minute. Oliver still closing that gap. 1.1 seconds as it stands. Lycon on the back of Ethan. He's got his teammate BJ backing him up into turn number 5. Out of the chicane. The Red Bull leading the two AlphaTauris and the Ferrari further back. Fergus with another time penalty. That's the second of the race. Lap 24. Going to the end of lap 24. It's Blaze who leads now by 3.5 seconds. And it's just half second between Lucky and Oliver. These two are going to go for it right into the end. However, I'm thinking... Oh, Ethan's around. He's had a skid there. I think he might be able to, he might try and come into the pits this time. No, he's staying out. How is he going to keep going on these tyres? And he is definitely banking on a late safety car of some kind. He's going as long as he can on those. BJ passing Lycon now into turn 1. There's Zach Sherman up in 4th place. Doing a brilliant job. There's your overall position gain. Most having been gained now by Lycon, who's gained 13. He started back in 19th. He's now up in 6th. However, will those hard tyres, well, all those hard tyres will go the distance. Will he choose to go the distance on them? They will make it, but will he try and make it? It's clear to us that with the right tyre management, you can go that far on hard tyres. It's been proved to us by Ethan as it stands, and if we've seen it a couple of times in the last few weeks, in terms of drivers taking those hard tyres the distance. Oliver still right there behind Lucky Lambo. We're trying to set up a move this time. No mistakes. ERS deployed. ERS also deployed. No battery usage for Lucky. Right hand side for the McLaren. Taking the lead into turn 1. There he goes. Excuse me, the lead. Sorry, he's taking second. Oliver now back up on back where he started in second, and now once again finds himself chasing down the race leader. That race leader, none other than Salve Blaze. Those medium tyres now a lap fresher on the McLaren, but he's still got the Alfa Romeo breathing down his neck. As Courtney Goblin and Webster go at it, still going at it for 7th now for Ferrari. Ferrari just sitting just 2 points behind Red Bull here, and right now they're in prime position. Trying to get something out of that, but Ethan going onto a set of soft tyres now, completely missed his stop. He's now got a lot of work to do in this race. He sits 35 seconds off the lead, and around 8-9 seconds behind the last points paying driver running in P10. That's PJ Callard, who's come back from that front wing change earlier on in the race. So BJ up there up in P5. With some more good points for AlphaTauri and the constructors to move them further ahead of Alfa Romeo. As of right now, they'll move 1 point clear. The fastest lap point going to Fergus right now. However, Ethan might try and change that here. If he was to hold the fastest lap, as of right now, it would mean nothing as he sits P12. Only the top 10 can get the extra. Only a driver in the top 10 can get the point fastest lap, provided they finish in those points paying places. Yellow flag further back. No fastest lap for Ethan yet. Is Oliver closing that gap? It's still around 4.3 seconds. Blaze has 8 laps to go. Lucky Lambo struggling to keep pace with the McLaren here. Arguably this race, perhaps not as entertaining as last season's one, but still exciting nonetheless. That safety car really changed things. Lap 28 now this race, as my controller almost falls off of my desk at the moment. But Blaze has been absolutely unstoppable here. Led the early way, spun out, down to P8. Kate took advantage of the safety car, which came out at the right time for him. Onto fresh mediums, which he's been on ever since. Fought his way back to the pack. Arguably not as much of as a fight, thanks to that safety car. It managed to bring up a few places, but he still had to fight like hell to get those places, which he has managed to claim. Restarted in 4th place. Yellow flag now out again. It's Fergus, who spins out. Those soft tyres surely reaching the end of their life at this stage, and he knows that. Oh, he's put the car on the wall there. So those tyres reaching the end of their life, and now he's into the pit lane and going almost we're going a lap behind at this stage. Warney passes Ericsson, who's coming out of the pit lane himself. There goes Blaze. Fresh softs for the McLaren. Meanwhile, his teammate is still trying to close that gap, but having no luck. Yellow flag in turn 1, and that is for Ericsson, who's letting him go. Alvar going side by side, one of the Ferraris there. It's Webster's into the pit lane. I'm thinking potentially there might be one more twist in the tail in terms of strategy, because seeing quite a few drivers pitting now. The hard tyre runners can no doubt go to the end. BJ may struggle, but the rest of them will probably end up doing around 22 laps or so on those. And those hard tyres can most likely do 22 laps, as Alvar is proving. However, can the mediums do 22 laps? Now Blaze is good. How good Blaze is at managing his tyres. Woody sets the fastest lap, but needs to be in the top 10 in order to claim the fastest lap point. 6 laps to go. Oliver is unable to close that gap. Ericsson's out, retiring in the pit lane. So no safety car be required here. Alvar letting Prolol go. Yellow flag, sector 1, and that is just Ericsson. It's AI re-emerging onto the racetrack. 15 cars now left. All Blaze has to do now is just hold on. He's got a decent lead. He's not struggling at all. BJ has Fergus right behind him. Because Fergus a lap down, so no concern as to whether he lets him go or not. However, as Fergus is a lap back, he probably really should be battling the AlphaTauri in case he perhaps makes contact and ruins his race. Zach Sherman there in 4th. No doubt to annoy his teammate out of the race, especially when they're trying to hunt Mercedes. However, they will take that spot. They will take 7th place in the Constructors' Championship. Should they hold on? 12 points to 6. Actually, my maths are incorrect, so they won't quite take it. Fergus challenging BJ there through turn 1. You can see how many times the McLaren's gone off track. The amount of dirt on the side of the car. That gap's closed a bit now between the two leaders. Chailover's got it down to 3.6 seconds. However, I'm still doubting that he can make it all the way up to challenging the race leader, considering the amount of time he has left. I'm thinking he'll finish around 1.8, 1.9 seconds back. Yellow flag, and who is that? That's Lucky Lambo's gone around. And that will put Zach Sherman up into the podium places. Unfortunate for Lucky Lambo, perhaps not as lucky as he might have hoped. And he's got no front wing. And that will make things so much worse for the Alfa Romeo driver. And that will most definitely allow AlphaTauri to increase their Constructors' Championship advantage, their stranglehold in second place. Provided they can hold on to what they have at this point. Blaze into turn 1. Oliver now into turn 1 himself. Yellow flag, and that is Alvar letting Oliver go. BJ chasing Zach Sherman as Lucky Lambert now enters the pit lane. The fight for that final spot on the podium isn't over yet. 15 points to be claimed for a third place finish, the last spot on the rostrum. Alvar, 3-second time penalty. So 3.6 still separating Blaze from Oliver. Both are making their way through the chicane there. And Zach Sherman 8.3 back from the McLaren in third. BJ just 4 tenths behind. This is where it gets interesting. Because BJ's tyres are 2 laps older. Plus Zach Sherman, despite that, Zach Sherman has faster mediums. But the majority of the wear on those is gone. They're hitting the cliff at this stage. Blaze crossed the line. 3 more laps. The AlphaTauri have DRS here. They charge down that main straight. Back to turn 1. Was the best of exits for Zach Sherman there. Went a bit offline, and that allowed BJ to take advantage and gain a couple more tenths. Prolol now passing Courtney. Those two going side by side. Out of turn 1. Down towards 3. Prolol looks to have the edge. Just forcing the Ferrari wires to make their way up 3 and into 4 now. Hoping not to make contact. Nice and clean between both of them. And Prolol comes out on top. Those points still definitely help Ferrari's case. Oh, and there goes Prolol off the track, and has he lost his front wing? I think he might have lost it. Yes, he has. No front wing for Prolol, and the race has fallen apart. Just like that for Alfa Romeo. The flick of a switch. And that will definitely help AlphaTauri. And now Prolol needs to nurse his car back to the pits. PJ Caleb move up into the points. Unless Webty might try and stop him here. Webty to the inside. Lucky Lambert just behind them. On the fresh soft tyres. PJ Caleb dropping back now. He's done 22 laps on those medium tyres. Oh, there's almost a bit of contact between Lucky and Websy. Prolol pulling off the track, off into the pit lane here. And once again, the Alfa Romeo crew had to get another front wing ready. Up front, Oliver hasn't quite been able to gain at that same rate. And Prolol retiring. The race over for him. Nothing to gain. Lucky Lambert up into 9th. So 2 points for Alfa Romeo's case. 9 points for Ferrari as of right now. So Aston Martin will sit just 1 point behind them in the constructor standings, but still 8th, and that's provided purely that Zach Sherman can hold on as Xavier Blaze starts his final lap. Yellow flag for the back. That's Alvar. Flag has passed him. Down the main straight, BJ knocked to the inside. A last lap pass for third here. BJ jumps ahead. No DRS for Zach Sherman, but DRS for BJ. And down towards turn 3. That might just seal it for the last spot on the rostrum. The battle still is the battle looks more or less over for the points paying places. And Lucky Lambert takes the extra point fastest lap right now. Yellow flag sector 2, and that's Alvarez going around again. I got myself excited for a moment thinking it was Blaze. Just purely because of the Williams colours and the Alpine colours on the mark. But Blaze had no such issues since that incident early on in the race. He's done a Max Verstappen here. He's going to spin and then win. And this will be enough to give him the outright championship lead. It's Lucky Lambert now out of the race as well. We'll cut to him in a moment. Blaze rounds the final corner to take another victory. Give himself the championship lead. Sammy Blaze wins Hungary. But what happened to Lucky Lambert? He's just crashed the car off of turn 3. So neither Alfa Romeo actually make the flag. Alvar has weirdly pulled himself over on the side. I think he may have spun out and now he's waiting for PJ Callard to go through. He'll take the final point offer. But great racing here. And once again, Che Oliver comes up second. With BJ taking the final podium place on the final lap. And you've got to wonder, how long will it take? How long must we wait for Che Oliver to win one of these races? Would love to see him do it. The safety car ended his chances. He led early on, as the safety car ruined it. Well, the race fell apart for Alfa Romeo later on. A stunning collapse. Unsure as to really what went down. But Sammy Blaze then the winner here in Hungary. Brilliant battles all down the pack. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. There he is, winning once again. Sammy Blaze to go to the top step of the podium with the championship lead now in his possession. Lando will have some work to do next race, the Belgian Grand Prix. Again, unsure as to whether I'll be there for that. But it's Blaze today on top. And the celebrations begin for Alpine. McLaren home in second. AlphaTauri third. It's a great race for the AlphaTauri team, who won't close points in the Constructors' Championship. But individually, for both drivers, great race, and it'll help them increase their lead over Alfa Romeo, again following their quite extraordinary collapse late on. So Blaze wins the race then. Oliver in second place, BJ third, Zach Sherman fourth in the end, Lycon fifth, Courtney Goblin sixth, JB seventh, Ethan eighth, Websy ninth, and PJ Callard 10th. It's Wardy in 11th place, Lucky Lambert 12th, Fergus 13th, Prolol 14th, Alvaro in 15th, and the 5 retirees, Ericsson, Huggy Bear, Paris, Stanway Landlord, and Curtis Shepherd. So that is the end of tonight's action here in the Racers Driving League. Do hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, make sure to subscribe for more action from this championship. We'll be back potentially next week with the Belgian Grand Prix, but if not then we'll be back on the 24th for the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort. So make sure to see you then. Goodbye everyone, have a good one, see you next time.